Hey, friendo, Steve here. Welcome back to the channel. It's time for another Ask WrestleJuice. Let's go ahead and dive into it. As you can see, I've got the first question right here all ready to go. It's Lord Blake Whitehouse, and he says, so Roman's current world title run is his last world title run, right? I kind of feel like that's the case. If you guys have noticed, and I know everybody has, Roman has been showing up fewer and fewer and fewer dates throughout the last year or so. He's talked openly over the past 2 years that house show runs are kind of coming to an end for him. My prediction for the year is that he's going to wrestle 5 or less televised matches, which includes the Rumble, Mania, 2 Saudi shows, and SummerSlam or something like that. So I kind of feel like Roman's run is obviously coming to an end. So whether he loses it at WrestleMania, which I think is likely, or at SummerSlam or somewhere along those lines, I feel like that's going to be it for world title runs. One of the main reasons is because Triple H has been building up so many legit contenders for the world titles that, I don't know, they need to get their stories in too. And Roman's had his run. This is his definitive run. The Bloodline story has been the definitive storyline in wrestling since forever. It really has been something absolutely special. And I don't know that there's another substantial story where Roman will need the title. I feel like he's sort of entering his Brock Lesnar phase now, where Brock Lesnar is just showing up to get a big payday, to put certain people over, or to do big attraction matches like Omos, which I don't think Triple H would book Brock Lesnar or even Roman Reigns in a match like that. That was a Vince McMahon thing. So I kind of feel this is his last world title run. And I think when he makes appearances in the future, it'll be, I'm not going to say sporadic necessarily, but definitely not on a full-time basis, because he hasn't been full-time for a while now. I don't think they're going to want to tie up the title like this again, certainly not for this length of time. And I feel like anything after this, Roman Reigns having a title, will feel a bit on the underwhelming side, unless he feels like $1 million, he really misses it and really wants to do it again. I don't know the exact reason why Roman has cut down his dates so much. You can speculate that it has something to do maybe with the state of his health, given that he had that leukemia scare years ago and was able to come back, after COVID and do the tribal chief thing. I don't know that. I mean, I kind of see him maybe doing a John Cena thing where he comes back from time to time. I think he's going to be, really synonymous with the company still. But yeah, I kind of feel like this is going to be his last world title run, because I think that Triple H is going to want the world titles to be on people who are actively involved in the company on a week-to-week basis. There is only one Roman Reigns right now, and that's great, and it's a terrific run that he's had. It's been really, really special. I don't really think that he's going to get another world title run after this, and that's fine. This is the definitive title reign of the past 20, 30 years or whatever. So yeah, I could probably see this being his last title run. A lot of people in the rest of the question threads here have asked, so I'll just sort of deal with it now. What does he do after this? Again, I sort of feel like it's a situation where maybe immediately afterwards, he goes on somewhat of a face run where he's a good guy. He wins matches against big bad guys, but he also puts over other guys who could really use that Roman rub. But he does so as a good guy, kind of like the way John Cena's been doing for a while now. So, yeah, I kind of think that that's his deal. It'll be really, really part-time. It would not shock me at all for him to work with The Rock in Hollywood. The Rock has his own production company, and it wouldn't shock me to see him try to create a franchise of Roman Reigns vehicles if Roman wants to go the Hollywood route. The guy is incredibly charismatic. I could absolutely see him be successful in the next iteration of his career being in Hollywood. I could totally see that. Or I don't know that he's the kind of guy who just retire and do nothing. That just doesn't seem right to me. I feel like he's probably made for Hollywood, to be honest with you. Look, it took The Rock a long time to get from his first movie to where he eventually became Mr. Hollywood a couple of years ago, probably 5, 6, 7 years ago. Anyways, let's move on to the next question here. Let's talk about another part-timer, Brian Danielson. Kendall Wells here asks, if Danielson really is going part-time, would you like the idea of him being GM of Ring of Honor and making it like a true developmental brand and having him be the main presence backstage? I don't think that's going to happen, only because part-time doesn't mean he's going to be traveling with the brand every week. If he's going to be the main presence backstage, I feel like he's going to want to be wrestling. I feel like he's going to be probably faxing in story ideas from home, showing up for like, I don't know, maybe 6 pay-per-views a year or something like that. Maybe doing a couple New Japan matches here and there. But yeah, certainly he's not going to be present week to week. He's going to want to be raising his kids. So yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like he'll be submitting story ideas, I'd imagine. I don't know if he's going to be involved in the disciplinary commission, fining people for tweets and whatnot. I don't know. But I feel like, number one, Ring of Honor is a waste of his talent. If he's going to be focusing creatively anywhere, it's going to be on main roster programming. Review King asks, is there someone right now that you think in 5 or 10 years we'll look back on and say, damn, we didn't appreciate that wrestler? I kind of want to see what this reply is going to be. You know what it's going to be. Jinder Mahal. There you go. I kind of feel like it's going to be 5 to 10 years from now. People are going to be looking back and saying, man, we should have appreciated AEW a little bit more instead of needlessly crapping all over it. Hey, look, I'm guilty of that too. Stone Austin. Stone Austin says, what is one thing from the Attitude Era that would work perfectly in today's era? I'm going to say there's 2 things. Number one, from like a creative standpoint, the sense of urgency, right? Like you'd flip on an episode of Raw and things would be happening during the Attitude Era. It's like, oh my God, this is never letting up. And that's one philosophy that I think Vince Russo struck on, the Crash TV thing where something's always happening. Don't give them an opportunity to turn off the TV. And that sort of doesn't work with today's philosophy of, hey, let's put on a 15-minute match. Because back then in the Attitude Era, you wouldn't have those. You would not have 15-minute, 20-minute matches. That wouldn't happen. It's like, hey, bro, let's do a 3-minute match and let's have some people like, stabbing each other backstage. But nevertheless, there was a sense of urgency that started with the damn opening. And I don't get that sense of urgency from any WWE product these days. And I kind of feel like it's from the intro. Like they've got the intro, which is like a mid-tempo, like rap song. Man, give me something with urgency. Like if you're gonna give me, if you want to go down the route of rap or hip hop, awesome. There's a lot of like fight the power. Let's get something like that's got urgency to it. Like let's get people hyped up for it. And right now it's just not. It's just sort of like goes into the episode and it's not a lot of urgency. So I think that sense of urgency is really lacking. So it's sort of like those things. It's like the pacing of the show, urgency there, and like the intro itself. God dang, man, back in 97, they were like running around a warehouse with all sorts of things exploding. Where's that? I want some explosions. Krauser, UTH says, do you think we're seeing a rebirth of TNA? I've been enjoying their product more than AEW as of late. That's awesome. That's great. A rebirth. So what do we see on at Hard to Kill? I watched it last night. We saw a Hammerstone match. I don't know if he's going to be with the company, but it seems like TNA might be interested in signing him. We saw a Hammerstone match. We saw Nick Nemeth show up. I don't know. I'd like to see the six-sided ring, to be honest with you. I think that'd be cool. I think that Impact has been doing a really good job sort of rebuilding their brand anyways, and I feel like the rebranding of TNA is just a really, I don't know, it's just a cool marketing stunt to try to get more eyeballs on the product. Really, I kind of feel like what they need is their cable channel to be in more homes. Nick Nemeth is a hell of a signing for the company. I like that they brought on Dana Brooke. I thought Trinity was really good. You need a top-level name, though. You need like a Mercedes Moné, who it seems like she's going to AEW. You need like a name like that, I think, to really break through. But they do good with what they got. But like a rebirth of the company, I don't know. I hope so. I don't really know what that means. Like, does it mean like more people watching the show? Does it mean their ratings are up? Does it mean more people are buying their pay-per-views? Remains to be seen. You know, it's a good marketing stunt, and marketing is there to bring people in. But like, I don't really. It's still Scott D'Amore. I think he's a really good booker. I think he does a lot with what he's got. Does that? You know, they still did the Impact stuff though. Like, there was still like a bunch of finishes that I was like, wait, what? Why'd you do that for? You know, he had his PCO Dirty Dango match booked, and they did a wonk finish, like a really fast DQ, and they turned into a tag match. That's just a very Impact thing to do. I don't think that's going anywhere. We need some long-term stories, but sometimes they can't do long-term stories because they tape like once a month or something, and then people can like leave. They just be gone all of a sudden. So I think they have to be careful with how they book. I'm just trying to do something. Says, do you think any wrestlers would benefit from an extended sabbatical to tweak or even reinvent themselves? Yeah, Austin Theory. I know it's an easy answer, man, but it's Austin Theory, 1,000%. That guy, man, that was a scary moment for him the other night in that match. Thank goodness he's okay, but yeah, he needs to go away. If you're going to send somebody to All Japan for like an extended period of time, Austin Theory, that'd be awesome for him because he needs something. That guy's struggling. Nate Fuentes says, who has the best entrance in WWE? For me, it's Trick Williams with Booker T on commentary. The energy in that soundstage is crazy when Whoop Dat Trick starts. That's a good answer. Here's the problem. There's a lot of people who have really good entrances in WWE. I was thinking about this question. I was like, oh, it's Roman. My God, it's Roman. But then I was like, wait a second. Seth Rollins has a really awesome. Wait a second. Cody has a really good. Wait a second. Judgment Day has a really killer entrance. A lot of people have really awesome entrances. Who's the best? It's Roman. That song is so good. And his entrance is really, really amazing. So it's either him or Judgment Day. God, I love the Judgment Day's entrance music. It's so good. Smoky Basement says, do you think AEW will become more like TNA over the next 5 to 10 years if they don't fold over that time period? No. I mean, I don't know what more like TNA means. Like smaller venues, less live television. Here's the thing. Over the past like week or so, WBD has been like putting out these press releases about how great AEW is and what they've been doing. To me, that says they appreciate their relationship. I think Tony Khan was savvy enough to get a pretty decent cable deal out of Warner Brothers Discovery in the first place. And if Warner Brothers Discovery ends up taking like Monday Night Raw or something and they kick off AEW, they're like, no, we don't need your program anymore. I kind of feel like they'll be okay finding a spot somewhere else. Their name brand is still really good. Their pay-per-view revenue is still outstanding. I think they'll get a decent TV deal somewhere, even if it's not Warner Brothers. But I get the feeling it's going to be Warner Brothers. I think they're going to keep them around. They'll probably give them a pretty decent increase. So I don't think they're going to fold. I really don't. I don't know what it like if it means will they look more like TNA with like a smaller production. I don't know. I don't know if Tony Khan would rather sell the company and call it a day. And if that's the case, then AEW will end up more like TNA. That would probably be the case. But if he sells it, it'll probably be, I don't know. I don't think they're going to fold. I just don't. I think their pay-per-view revenue is still really, really good. They grossed more money than ever this past year. They seem to be a really healthy company. They're one good TV deal away from, I don't know, from like being profitable. That's a pretty good deal right there. So, no, I don't think they're going to fold, and I don't think they're going to like TNA. Fernando says, what move do you see going the way of the super kick or DDT, meaning going from a finishing move to a transition move? It's the F5. The F5. I think I've already seen that as like a normal move for some people. I think I saw it on Hard to Kill last night. Yeah, it's the F5. People are just doing that and not even pinning people with it, man. D. Dela Cruz says, do you think it was a huge mistake that the Elite didn't go to WWE instead of re-signing with AEW? I feel like the Young Bucks don't feel special anymore in AEW, and it's a bummer that Omega is out with all his physical injuries. No, because I feel like they can still just sort of do what they want to do, and I think they like the freedom, and I think they know the place. I don't know that they want to be the end-all, be-all. You know what I mean? Like, they had their repackaging. Remains to be seen what that will entail. But they get to be in Sting's last match. Like, there's still a lot that they can do, and there's still a lot of ways they can help the company while not being the main focus of attraction. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think... Look, I think that they re-signed with AEW kind of at the height of the CM Punk drama. when like they were doing the collision stuff and it's like people aren't allowed on that show and they were able to tease it a little bit. I think if they didn't go to WWE at that point, then that has to mean they see a lot of good still in being with AEW. So no, I don't think it was a mistake for them. I think Hangman's doing some really fun stuff with Swerve Strickland right now, so I would doubt that he regrets it either. I think that he could still really build his brand in a major way in AEW and make even more money in WWE if he wants to do that. It's still pretty young in his career, and he's done a lot already. All right, we'll end on this one. AJ Forsyth says, what would be your main event of a WWE Forbidden Door pay-per-view with New Japan and AEW? You got to do a triple threat. I would think it would be Seth Rollins versus Okada versus who's in versus I don't know, probably MJF, right? Yeah, it'd be MJF. That would be the triple threat right there. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I think that'd be really cool. What would Roman Reigns do? Would he even do that? I just left Roman Reigns out of there because Roman's on this level up here. That's why. Roman, I don't know what I guess Roman Reigns versus President Tanahashi. Maybe that's the match right there. But yeah, no, the main event would be Rollins because that's all the wrestle guys, right? Rollins, Okada, and MJF. I feel like they're all on the same level. Roman's levels above. That's what his new shirt says. Anyways, that's going to do it for WrestleJuice. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Appreciate it. Until next time, we'll see you around.